வணக்கம். In this class, we are going to see about two systems of classification. Number one will be morphological classification and second, chemical classification. So let me see briefly about morphological system of classification. Morphology. Morpho means outer characters, external characters of the crude drug that can be identified with the help of our sense organs. So morphology can be defined as the study about the characters that can be seen through our sense organ will be called as morphology. So in this classification we are going to classify the crude drugs based on the identified morphological characters, right? So this morphological classification can also be termed as macroscopical classification. So as we already said, morpho means external characters, as like that macro means larger in size, right? Micro means very small, which cannot be seen through our naked eye. Macro means larger, right? Macroscopy means study about the characters that can be seen through our naked eye will be called as macroscopy, right? So morphological classification is also called as macroscopical classification, right? So here we are going to classify the crude drugs first into two predominant categories such as organized crude drug and unorganized crude drug, right? Organized and unorganized. So you may know what is meant by organized and unorganized, right? But still we will discuss once. So organized crude drugs means those crude drugs which are made up of cellular structures which contains a determined cellular arrangement will be called as organized crude drug. So if you are checking a crude drug and focusing it in microscope, and if we see through the microscope and if we can able to identify certain cellular structures, then that particular crude drug will be called as organized crude drug. If you cannot able to see any cellular structure, or if the crude drug does not contain any cellular structure, then the particular crude drug will be called as unorganized crude drug, right? So in simple, all the parts of the plant will be called as organized crude drug, okay, and other crude drugs are ultimately termed as unorganized crude drug, right? So let me take organized crude drug. So in organized crude drug, we are going to classify according to the various morphological characters such as color, odor, taste, shape, size and part used. So as you see, we can able to identify all these characters with the help of our sense organs, right? We can see the color, we can smell what is the odor of that particular crude drug, and with the help of our tongue we can say what is the taste, we can see and say what is the shape of that crude drug, we can measure and say what is the size, and by seeing we can say what is the part used, which means by seeing the crude drug we can say it is a leaf or it is a root or if it is a bark, like that. So by observing these 6 characters we are going to classify, okay. Now by measuring or by observing all the 6 characters, we cannot able to classify all the crude drugs, right? Because a single drug may have different characters, so it will be very complex to classify all the crude drugs by observing all the 6 characters. So that we will be taking the part used, means what's the part of the crude drug used, and we will classify all the crude drugs. Okay, so what's a part of that particular plant is used as crude drug based on that particular thing we are going to classify all the prodrugs here. So let me see here examples. So if you take what are the parts of the plant means it will be starting with seed, then root, there will be a stem and which is surrounded by bark and there will be leaves, flower, fruit, right, and again seed. So I had given example for each and everything. So for seed, the drug will be Nux vomica. For flower, it's clove. For root, Rauwolfia. Leaf, Vasaka, Adatoda. And for fruit, it's coriander. For bark, we can say cinnamon. And for wood, sandalwood. And for rhizome, ginger. So all these crude drugs, we are very well known crude drugs, so that I don't want to explain much more about it. And now, if you take unorganized, so unorganized crude drug means it won't have any cellular arrangement. It is not a plant part, right? It's a gummy substance or else any secretory products that is obtained from the plant, right? Which we'll call it as unorganized drug. Now, these unorganized drugs are classified into 7 categories such as latex, resin, dried juice, gum, dried extract, fixed oil, volatile oil. Okay. I will say a definition, just a simple term, defining term about that particular 7 terms, and we will see an example. That's it. So latex. So which one will be called as a latex? Means any milky exudate from the plant can be called as latex. Any white exudate or else milky exudate will be termed as latex. Example, best example, opium, from which we will be obtaining morphine, codeine, thymine, etc. Right. And number 2 is resin, resinous products, which are complex products, terpenoidal products which are obtained from the plant will be called as resin, and best example is benzoin, shamrani, right, which we'll be using in our home. And third will be dried juice. So juice what we are obtaining from the plant will be dried into a powder, then we will be using it as a crude drug. And then example is aloes. So aloes, you may know that what is that thick paste or else what are the substance which is present in aloes, we will be using it as drug, right? So we will be scrubbing that particular juice, and after removing it we will be drying it, and that particular dried juice will be used as drug. Okay. And number 4, gum. So gums, as you all know, it's an oxidative product of carbohydrate substances, and example is acacia. And number 5, dried extract. So here any one part of the plant will be extracted with a solvent, and that particular extract will be dried and used as a drug, right? So any one part of the plant will be extracted with one solvent, any solvent it may be. That particular extract will be dried, and that dried powder will be used as drug. Example, agar. And 6, fixed oil. Oh, what's meant by fixed oil? So any oil which won't evaporate at room temperature can be generally termed as fixed oil. Let me see. We don't want to enter that much specific into it. Fixed oil. Example, coconut oil. And last, volatile oil. The oils which will get evaporated at room temperature and which will be giving fragrance will be called as volatile oil. Right? Example, eucalyptus oil. Right? Now, what are the advantages of this morphological classification? So, what's the advantage I will get if I follow this morphological system of classification? Number 1, it's very convenient for practical purposes, practical study. So, in the practicals, while doing the practicals, this morphological classification plays a vital role. So, it says much more information to the students and to the lecturers very easily, so that we can able to identify and use any crude drug. So it's convenient for practical study. And number 2, it's easy to identify adulteration. Example, for example, we are let me assume that we will be using leaf part as crude drug, right? So we had collected certain leaves of the particular plant. If there is any bark or stem, young stem, or else some other parts of that particular plant, it is very easy to identify it, right? It's very easy because we are going to use only one part of the particular plant. So if any other plant parts are present in it, then we can say that that particular fruit drug is adulterated. So it's very easy to identify adulteration by using this morphological classification. These two are the merits of this morphological system. Now, what's the demerits, disadvantage of this classification? Repetition may occur. The duplication may occur. Repeat. The drug name may get repeated. How it will be getting repeated means, if suppose in a crude drug or else in a plant, if two parts are used as crude drug, or else if the whole plant is used as crude drug, then it's very complex to categorize it into a particular category. In that particular cases, in those cases, repetition of that particular crude drug may occur, right? And number two, it does not give any information about the microscopical character of the crude drug. So it gives information only about its morphological characters, and it won't give any information about the microscopical structure or chemical constituents or else pharmacological uses. So it will be giving information only about the morphological characters. So if you want to know about the pharmacological function of that particular crude drug, you can't able to follow this system, right? We can follow, we can't able to get the information in this classification, right? Okay. And at last, what's the book? Is there any book following this particular system of classification? Means yes, it's textbook of pharmacognosy by T. Wallis. We all can go to library and see. If you can able to, you please take the book from the library and let you once see it. Here all the chapters are classified based on the morphological parts of the crude drug. Okay, so that's about morphological system. Now we'll enter into chemical system of classification, an important system of classification. So what's the principle of this one? It's based upon the bioactive constituents or else the chemical constituents present in the particular crude drug. So here we are going to classify all the crude drugs based upon the chemical constituents present in it, or based upon the bioactive substances present in this particular crude drug, right? So there are much more examples. So these examples again may be categorized, can be categorized into two categories, such as primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. So you may all know about that, I think so. What are primary metabolites? What are secondary metabolites? What's mean by it? What's mean by secondary metabolite? How primary metabolites are formed, or how secondary metabolites are formed. So if suppose if you don't know, or if you want further information about it, let you comment so that I will able to do a separate video for it, right? So examples for primary metabolites are carbohydrates, proteins and lipids, and all the other things will come under secondary metabolites. And here are examples for each primary and secondary metabolites, right? So all the examples are well known, so that I don't want to explain much more about it. Now, the advantage of this chemical classification. So this classification is a base for the pharmacological classification of crude drug, right? So this chemical classification will be the base for the pharmacological classification of the crude drug. How? Means all the crude drugs are used to treat any disease based upon the chemical constituents present in it. If it does not have any chemical constituents, then there won't be any pharmacological action at all, right? So pharmacological action of that particular crude drug is purely due to the chemical constituents present in it, right? So if you know the chemical constituents present in it, then we can able to say what may be the pharmacological action of that particular crude drug. For example, if the crude drug contains cardiac glycosides, then we can say that particular crude drug can be used as cardiotonic. If the particular crude drug contains anthraquinone glycosides, then we can say that particular crude drug can be used as laxative, right? So this chemical classification acts as a base for the pharmacological classification of crude drug, right? Now disadvantage. If a crude drug has two different constituents, then it is very difficult to classify. For example, if a crude drug contains glycosides and alkaloids, then there will be a confusion that whether we have to categorize this particular crude drug into alkaloid category or glycoside category. So if any crude drug has two chemical constituents, then it will be very difficult to classify as per this chemical classification. Okay, and at last, the book following this particular classification is Essentials of Pharmacognosy by Dr. S.H. Ansari. Essentials of Pharmacognosy by Dr. S.H. Ansari. Right? That's about it. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask in the comment section. I will surely explain and I will surely clear all your doubts. Thank you very much. In the next class, we will see about remaining classifications. Thank you.